So I shared this yesterday on my social media. This is the emotional vibration scale. It reflects all of the emotions that we can be carrying within our body. And we can be carrying all of these all the time. You see these higher vibrating emotions like peace, joy, love, reason, acceptance. We actually all have those emotions within our body, okay? They're innate, they're always here, and they're always accessible regardless of what's going on outside. What happens is so often we're feeling the lower vibrations, right? Like shame, guilt, fear, grief, apathy, all of those lower vibrating emotions. And when I say lower, I don't mean bad, okay? I don't mean that they're bad. I just mean they have a lower frequency, right? If you see the frequency to the left. What that means is it almost like they have less of magnetic power, right? So for example, if you're feeling fear, like I felt fear about like that spider being on my shoulder, that doesn't mean I'm going to manifest another spider into my life, right? It would take longer time being in those places to attract those kinds of experiences to us. And what's so profound about the fact that you already have these higher frequencies within your body is as we go through this process of not spiritually bypassing, meaning trying to jump from shame and completely ignoring shame and jumping up to love, when we can begin to feel that emotion as just energy within the body, we begin to move literally through it, and it dissolves. It begins to alchemize in the body and fill you with more of these higher vibrations. This is how our body and our energy and our emotions want to naturally heal. And that's where breathwork is so powerful, because as we breathe, we are allowing our mind to release all the stories associated with shame and guilt and fear and grief. And we're just breathing through and allowing these, excuse me, allowing these energies within the body to alchemize, meaning they transmute and they shift from feeling like painful to feeling like love and pleasure and joy. So then you can just naturally move through and feel more peaceful, more joy, more love, even if the outside world is still, maybe you're still broke, you're still single or in a relationship that doesn't feel that great, you're still suffering with like addictive behavior, like eating disorders, you're still like feeling lost in the direction of your life, but you released those stories and you breathe to feel these higher vibrating states. Oh, it's 11:11. And what's so powerful about that is look at how high the frequency is. You don't need to understand these numbers. I honestly don't necessarily know what the actual number means. But what I do know about the numbers is these are so magnetic, such a high frequency that when you feel that in your body, you're expanded, you're putting that out into the world, into the universe, and you're deliberately attracting a manifestation that matches that frequency to you. This is how people can oh wait, she's on here. I'm gonna stop sharing this now, okay? One of my students from a mastermind I ran, Tani, I'm gonna share something she shared with me because she sent me a little testimonial video a couple of days ago, and something in the video she shared was we were learning about money manifestation, and she wrote down that she wanted to manifest $1,000 that week, and she didn't know how it would come, but she did the breathing and the meditation to feel like it's here. And the next day she manifested $1,600. She took her car to like a shop, and they like scratched it a little. Like you couldn't even really see the scratch. She didn't care, but they gave her a $1,600 like check or something. And yeah, so what's cool about that story is, you know, it's so easy for us to want something in life and try and plan how we're going to get there based on our perceptions of how we've grown up, what we've seen our parents do, what we've seen our friends do, what we've seen successful, if you're an entrepreneur, successful entrepreneurs who really grind and push and hustle. And yeah, if we want to do that and we believe that works, it will work. But what I've really shifted into is there's a lot of fucking magic in this world. And I want to feel so in my flow and so much pleasure and joy and love, because I know that the more that I fill up on that, the more I can give to others. So by receiving, I'm giving. Tani, so of course I'm back for more of this breathwork, yeah. So as we begin to shift and hear these stories, like, wait, she had said she wanted that $1,000 and then it showed up. And there's this one podcast episode where I talk about how I was doing like these experiments for 1 week of manifesting like material things. Like I wrote down, I want a free cup of coffee today. Cause if you've ever seen The Secret, they talk about that a lot. And it felt so unreal to me. And later that day, I went and visited a friend at a coffee shop, and she was working at that coffee shop, and I completely forgot about that. I wrote this down, and I buy a coffee, and I'm sitting there doing my work, and then she brings me a free coffee. So I was like, okay, wait, that was cool, but was that a coincidence? So then I wrote the next day that I want to manifest more free coffees. And I did this breathwork session for a friend. She was going through a rough time, and she brought me a $50 coffee gift card. And I've never been gifted a gift card from a friend or for coffee ever. So these things that feel like coincidences turn into magical synchronicities, and we begin to be able to direct what we desire in life. Later that week, I manifested a free bike and a date and just all of this cool stuff. Now that sounds pretty magical and miraculous, but after that week, I didn't really deliberately try and manifest like material things, only because I don't value that. Like it was cool, but that doesn't fill my soul, right? It doesn't light me up. What really lights me up is becoming a vibrational match for more impact, for attracting clients to me that feel like they could be best friends. And some of them are on this call right now. And you know, healing within so that I can attract a partner who I can just feel so at home and so comfortable with. And so, you know, it's like these deeper, fulfilling things that we desire in life. We get to do the inner work to become a match to receive them. It's so powerful. And the more that you do this work, you'll just naturally begin to become magnetic to those desires, right? Like whenever I started doing this inner healing work, I was no longer attracted to friendships that really hurt me and were judgmental and like toxic. Like it didn't make sense anymore. There was no match. Like, and that's fine. You know, people come into our life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I naturally became magnetic to friendships that were deeply fulfilling and beautiful, without having to deliberately like plan out like, oh, I'm going to get on Bumble BFF and I'm going to look for these qualities. We can just be in alignment and be guided, and you'll be guided through the expansion that you feel in your body. And at the end of this call, you'll be feeling that expansion. And that's how you know what direction to go. It's called inspired action or inspired guidance or intuition. I use those interchangeably. But essentially, it's like this inner guiding system where you get to release the monkey mind, and you get to be guided by what feels good and expanding, like yes, or saying no to what feels contracting.